Great. So first, let me just introduce myself. I am Divya. I have about 7.6 years of experience into IT industry, into data analytics. I currently working as a Tableau data analyst in one of the MNCs in Hyderabad. And I completed my master's in data science, and I have about 4+ years of experience into training. I have experience, I will teach the concepts of, or I can say, I will teach the concepts of data science. I have experience in teaching SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. So yeah, this is about me. And hi, Altaf. Let me just quickly recap what we saw in the previous class, and let's continue today. So that as we got some new students today, and whoever joined today, can you please tell me, do you have some basic knowledge on SQL, or is it completely new to you? Are you from IT backgrounds or non-IT backgrounds?
I have basic knowledge of SQL.
Great.
Hi, ma'am. This is Darshan. So I have little basic knowledge of SQL.
Okay. All right. So basically, as you know, SQL is nothing but a structured query language. The full form of the SQL is structured query language, and it is used to communicate with the databases. Okay, SQL is used to communicate with the databases. Okay, database is nothing but the place where we will store all the data. I can say it is something like if I talk about technical definition, we can assume it as a collection of data. Okay, basically in how, if we store any files in our systems or laptops, how we will create a folder first, and inside the folder we will create a files and save all the photos like that. In the same way, if we are storing the data in the databases, same like a folder, we will create a database first, and inside the database we will create the tables, and inside the tables we will we will add some data in it. That is, we will save some data in it. Okay, so that is about the database. And SQL is a language which we will use it to communicate with the database. If we want to fetch the data, if whenever we are maintaining the database, we will use the SQL to make we will use the SQL to communicate with the database, so that by using SQL only we will write all the queries, so that we can do some sort of operations in the databases. Okay, so basically SQL is a case insensitive. We can use either capital letters. It is case insensitive. We can use it in either lowercase or uppercase. Okay, and one more thing, whenever this is basically MySQL workbench, we are working on the MySQL. As you know, SQL is the language. This is a universal declared language which is used to communicate with the database, and we have various products in SQL. Like we have SQL Server, we have MySQL. Like we have Oracle, SQL, MongoDB, like that. We have many tools. Those are all basically tools available, separate tools available in the market. Okay, like SQL Server is a tool from the Microsoft, MySQL is a tool from the Oracle, and like that. Basically, the language or the concepts we will use is the SQL only. This is the language we will use for each and every technologies. Just there are MySQL and SQL Server, those are just different products of SQL. Okay. So we are in that way we are dealing with MySQL product. We are learning MySQL product. How basically we will learn the SQL concepts, and we use MySQL workbench or MySQL product to learn the SQL. And the reason why we are using MySQL is MySQL is basically open source product. That is, whenever we use a MySQL, that open source in the sense in companies also, whenever they are using MySQL, it is completely free of cost. Then no need of paying for maintaining the MySQL. No, companies also won't pay anything to the Oracle. It is freely available. That's the reason nowadays most of the companies are preferring to use MySQL. Okay, am I clear so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So as I said just now, first we will create the database, and inside the database only we will create the tables, right? Because as I said, database, we can call it as a collection of data. So how to create this is basically the MySQL workbench. This is the user interface of MySQL workbench. As you can see here, there is one first icon. If we click on that, one new page, editable page will be open here. In this place only we will write all the SQL queries. Okay, there are two ways. We can even click on File, New Query tab, or else directly we can see the first icon here. If we click, we will open. It will be new page or new SQL file will be open where we will write all the queries. Okay. And towards the left under schemas, you can observe this is the list of databases available in this workbench for now. Whenever you install your MySQL workbench in your laptops, you can able to see only sys database. This is basically the automatic generated database, and after that you need to create the databases. Whatever we created, all the databases, the list of the databases we can see from here. Okay, and we have few options here. As you can see, first option, you can see it is in the shape of like something like file. Once we saved any SQL file in our laptops, if we want to open that, we need to click here. Once we click here, it will allow us to choose the SQL files from our laptop. Okay, that is to access or to open already saved SQL files, we will use this first icon. Like this, it will allow us to select from our laptops and we can choose any file from here. Okay. And the second option is, if after writing any syntaxes, if we want to save this file in our laptop, we will use this save option. Okay. This is used to save the file in our laptops, and this is used to open the files which is already saved in our laptop. And the third icon is, after writing every commands, we will execute the commands, right? So the third option is used to execute. Okay. So this is the main part which we will use most frequently, and we have many options in the menu bar. We will see all of them going forward. Okay.
I have a question. So
Yes,
right
please.
now we will be creating the tables in the database as well, and we'll be able to retrieve the data. That also we will be learning it, right, in this course?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, basically in the databases, we will store the data and we will learn how to manage the databases. SQL, the role of the SQL developer will be like, we will manage the databases. There are many concepts in the SQL. We will learn each and every concept very clearly. That too, along with the, I will use real-time database called as Netflix database, that is in as you all know, Netflix is an OTT platform. We will use that database only to learn all the concepts. So something like a movie's data, we have many tables in it. So that, as you all know, once we join in on any company, we will deal with the big data. So that's the reason I will we will learn all the concepts by using some big data only. Okay. And actually, I already there are some students who attended my previous class as well. I took already I'm done with one class. So quickly, but again, there are few more students who joined today. So I'm just giving, I just finished how to create database and tables only. I will just try to quickly revise that for the, I'm just telling this for the guys who have attended my Friday session. Okay. And yes.
Ma'am, can we get the data to practice along with you?
Sorry. Yes, of course, of course. I will upload one. See, day by day. Once we are done with, once whatever I taught today in this class, I will upload that complete. Basically, I will upload this files only. I believe with the if anyone, any student needed, even I can give the theory file separately as a notes, but I believe I will share this files only. There you will get one link once you get registered with DurgaSoft. You will get one link. In that link, day-wise videos, whatever I taught in the class, that videos we will upload. You can access that videos for 6 months, and I will upload this notes. In this notes only, if you can see, this is some joins concept. This is the file of the previous the another batch students. Like this I will write along with the questions. I will write all the answers, and if we have any theory part also, I will write here only, so that if you can even access in one file, you can see all the theory part, and you can see all the syntaxes over there. It will be easy for you to revise. I will give you the this database also. I will upload this database in that link. I will explain you how to restore that database in your laptops. Okay, and I will provide all these notes.
Okay. Once we register, we'll get that link right now.
Yes, once you got registered, you will get that link. Okay. So
we will write queries like from different tables, how to pull out that also
correct,
will be there, right? From multiple yeah. Okay.
correct, multiple tables.
Okay.
Basically, let me just quickly show you the index. 1 second.
Hello.
Yes, Samina, please tell
Oh,
me.
just now, like I have logged in, so I have no idea, like, what you are taking. Can you just give me a short introduction?
Sure, sure. I'll do that. I'll do that. Just give me a second. First, please see the index, then I will repeat what I just said just now. Okay, so this is the index or course content which we are going to cover in this course. First, introduction to database and SQL, limitations of Excel. Next, we have creation of database and tables. Then I'll show you the MySQL workbench installation process. Then we have a concept called as database. We have SQL commands. We have many types of SQL commands, or we can also call it as SQL sub-languages. These are all different types of SQL commands. We will learn each one of them very detailing. Okay, and we have a concept called as integrity constraints. Next, these are also some commands. Select command. Next, we have where clause, which we will use to filter the data. Okay, so till here I will use basic tables like maybe employee table, like that, any students table, so that if anyone are completely new to SQL, they can understand very easily. And these are all the basic concepts. Once we are done with this concepts, here I will show you the live project, that is movies database, or I can say that is a Netflix database. Any OTT platforms database, it can be used as, we can imagine it as Netflix database, or we have many OTT platforms, right? Like Amazon Prime, Hotstar, like that. All the OTT platforms will be use the same database. Okay, I can also call it as a movies database. So here I will show you that database. I will explain what tables are there, what kind of data is there in that database, and I will give you this database, and I will upload this database to you, and I will show you how to restore that database in your laptops, so that you can practice each and every concepts in this real-time database only.
Okay.
Next, we have from here, our main concepts will start. We have some clauses in SQL like order by clause, SQL basic operators, range operator, membership operator, distinct clause, limit clause. Inside the limit clause, there will be some wildcards. We will learn each one of them very detailedly. And next concept is functions. We have various types of functions in SQL. We will learn everything very practically by using this real-time database only. These are all the different types of functions.
Okay.
Here the basic concepts of SQL will be done, and I can say from joins we will get into the advanced SQL. Okay, we have joins is the most important concept in SQL. If you attend any interview, almost 85 to 90% of the questions they will ask you on joins only, because in real time also we will work mostly on joins. Okay, so we will learn, especially I will take when comparing to the other concepts, I will take a little bit more time to discuss the joins, as this is an important class. I will teach each and every join very practically. First I will teach you theoretical part, and then I will show you practically, and I will give you some examples. I will explain some examples in the class, and I will give you some examples to practice on yourself. I will give you some examples so that you can practice on them if you have any doubts. And in every batch every student cannot really solve all the questions, right? So at the end, whatever examples I have given, I will discuss the answers for all the examples also, but I will give you some time so that you can try on your own, right?
Okay.
This is about joins. Next, we have a concept called as regular expressions. This is mainly if you are planning to start your career into data analytics, regular expressions we will use a lot in data analytics especially. Okay. After joins, regular expressions only we will use a lot, especially into data science field. Next, we have group by clause, having clause, aggregate functions. Next, subqueries. There are two types of subqueries. Next, normalizations concept. Now we'll discuss all the normal forms, ER diagrams, denormalization. Next, views, index, temporary tables, stored procedure. Till here, our concepts will be done. At the end, I will discuss some important interview questions.
Okay.
Okay, so this is about the course content which I'm going to cover in our course, and the course duration is of 40 days, and the course fees is 2,000, as you all know.
Okay, so 40 days is regular class?
Yes, regular class from
Okay.
Monday to Friday, I can say. If needed, at the end, if I feel I am not able to finish the concept, I may take any one class on Saturday as well.
Okay.
Or else mostly we will take like from Monday to Friday in the same time. It's from morning 8 to 9 a.m. IST.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
So like in most of the institutes I inquired, they take only for like 10 days, mostly 15 days maximum. So like in what way your course is different from there, ma'am? Like you are taking for 40 days?
yes, because as you can see, maybe the timings were also different. Someone will take more than 1 hour, like 2 hours like that. But I usually take 40 days, so that even, most of my students will come from completely non-IT background. They don't have, idea about the SQL. So, in taking consideration of each and every student, especially as I said, I'm a data science professional. I'm into data analytics. So I can say SQL as a backbone for data science. If any students, for especially non-IT students, if they want to transit their career into IT, data analytics or data science is a perfect domain, because, in data science or data analytics, even the domain knowledge, from which domain you are into, that domain knowledge is also an important thing. So mostly in that perspective, I will explain all the concepts of SQL. Whatever it is, in the SQL, as I said, most of the institutes, what they will do, they will explain the concept, they will give you the syntax, that's it. If I also do the same, I can even finish it in 20 days, but I won't do like that. Just learning the syntaxes, it won't help you in your real-time career.
Okay.
In interviews also, no one is going to ask you, tell me the definition of joins or tell me the definition of some concepts. Nowadays, like, if we previously they used to ask like that, but from almost 4 to 5 years, from last 4 to 5 years, everyone is asking you very practically. They will give you one table, they will ask you like, see, if this is the data, then 1 second.
Hmm.
S. Priya from DurgaSoft, data analyst. In the sense, I'm not sure what will be the course content. As I shown you, this is my course content. You please check with that course content. If it is same, yes, it will be the same.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here, don't have procedures and functions.
Functions we will cover, but 1 second. We will have procedures as this is stored procedures. I won't cover only triggers concept here because that will come under PL/SQL. It's not SQL. I will teach the SQL and advanced SQL part.
So this SQL is used in the Java, right, ma'am? Like in the Jdbc
yes.
connections?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
In any domain, if you are in IT, for every domain, I can say you need to learn SQL must. That will be the basic concept. That will be the basic subject for every IT professional should learn. So I will cover all those concepts here.
Okay, so you will be demonstrating everything with an example?
With an examples and with real-time database. This is the main difference of other trainers or other institutes. There they will teach you only the syntaxes. Maybe they will take an example by using only employee table, but here I'm not going to do that. I will explain each concept by using the real-time database only. Right?
Oh,
if I
great.
just create you one table and if I just insert 4 rows in it and I will show all the concepts, that is, I personally think that is waste. That is a wrong way of learning the subject, because once you are joined in any company, there will be thousands of rows. You should be in a position to apply everything in that big data, right? So that's the reason I will teach using real-time database.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's the reason maybe I will teach 40 days. Every concept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
And if you can see in other institutes, if they including the complete, if they are teaching the SQL with a package, like, if you are learning separately, mostly you can able to see 30 days or 40 days of duration. If they are adding that as a subject, if you are trying to learn as a full stack subject, they along with the SQL, they will add some more subjects in that course. If you are learning as a data analytics, they will add maybe Tableau or Python or some more subjects along with the SQL. In that perspective also, they will take 10 days or 15 days of time to finish.
Yes, ma'am. Maximum 15 days, minimum 10 days, ma'am.
But here my intention is not to just finish the subject, because everyone will learn to learn the subject only, right? So I won't do like that. Even I will also teach data analytics concept in DurgaSoft, but I won't teach it as a package. I will teach separately. I will teach SQL, I will teach Tableau and Power BI separately. So that whatever students learn from me, they need to learn the complete subject, and they should be in a position to apply all the concepts in the real time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, will it be the same timing, 8 o'clock, or can we, if everyone is okay, slightly push it to next, because I have another class at 7 to, by the time I complete the previous class, it will be 8:15 or something like that.
Okay. Let's see, Priya. Today, now itself, I cannot, cannot say you anything on that.
Okay.
See, whoever students are there here, everyone, are you comfortable for this timings, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Maybe I cannot push if needed. I can take one more batch from 7 to 8 like that. I cannot push this batch. 7 to 8 or 8 to 9. We may plan another batch going forward, but for now, this is the time for this batch.
Okay, this one is 7 to 8, ma'am?
No, 8 to 9.
Oh, 8 to 9. Okay.
Yeah. So if you are clear, I will start explaining the concepts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So that's it, Priya. Maybe the concepts are different, but the way of explanation and the usage of the databases will be different. As you attended this, everyone, whoever attended this class, you will get a link today you will get a mail from our admin team. In that mail, they will include the course content also this PDF file, this Word file. Please check that course content. Priya, you also please check this course content and compare with your current one and
Sure.
decide. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
I already said the difference between the other, maybe the other courses or other institutes or other lecturers. I will teach here. I feel this teaching with real-time database is my specialty. And previously we used to charge 5,000 or 6,000 for this course, but currently from the last batch, DURGASOFT is giving you a good offer. We are offering this content for 2,000 only.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yes, Suraj. If you learn MySQL, if you are a fresher, you can. There are many jobs available. But if you have some gap in your career, or if you have some sort of uh, experience or gap along with the SQL, you need to learn some one more career gap also. How much years, if you don't mind? How many years? 3 years. 3 years is okay. You can try. I cannot really assure along only with the SQL can you able to. But if it is 3-year gap also, you can try only for the SQL developer positions. There are many SQL developer positions. If you want to try, as a Tableau or data analyst, not on SQL won't help you. You need to learn some subjects for that. But for only SQL developer, if it is 3 or up to 4 years, you can try even as a fresher. Or one more thing, as I am explaining these concepts with the real-time database, if I won't suggest that, but if needed, you can even try keeping some experience out there like that. Yes, I will cover all the complex SQL queries only. Okay. All right, guys, let's start.
Yeah, at the end of one question, ma'am, at the end of the session, do we get any homework, any assignment like that?
As I said just now, in the class itself, whenever I'm teaching all the concepts, I will teach you along with the examples. Especially for joins, I will give you some examples to solve, because mostly
Okay.
90% of whether you join in any domain, irrespective of that, whenever we are dealing with SQL, 90% or 95%, maybe sometimes not 95, maybe 90%, we will work on joins only.
Okay.
So that's the reason I will give you some examples to solve in joins concept only. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I have 2.5 years experience, and I
Okay.
have the basic knowledge of SQL, Power BI, and Advanced Excel. So
Okay.
after this SQL and computing Power BI, so I plan to apply other companies. So it would be helpful, or any suggestions?
Of course. So you are already having 2.5 years of experience into Power BI developer, or
No, ma'am. No, it is differently different domain.
okay,
Only
different domain. You are now trying to transit to data analytics.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, then that will be perfect. Please learn SQL. See, of course, in any domain also, SQL is the important subject, but especially if I talk about data science, I can say SQL as a backbone of data science. You need to have sound knowledge on SQL. You should able to, write all the queries on yourself. So learn SQL and learn any of the visualization tool. As you said, you already learn Power BI. It may be Power BI, Tableau, any tool is the same. Learn any tool, and with these two subjects you can start your career into data analytics.
Okay.
Yeah, if you try for any data analyst position or Tableau developer position or Power BI developer position, first round in any companies in any location, maybe startup companies or MNCs, they in the first round they will filter you on the basis of SQL only. If you clear that round, then only in the second round they will check your knowledge on visualization tool, maybe Power BI or Tableau. Like that it will be. So I can say if you are perfect, 100% perfect in Power BI, and if you don't have sufficient knowledge in SQL, you can't clear that interview, because first round they will see you on, they will conduct on SQL only.
Okay.
So
And this is
yes, please.
This is second class, right, ma'am?
Yeah, this is second class actually, but many students join today only, so that's the reason I'm trying to explain the course content. And I will, in the previous class I just shown how to create database and how to create table only. I will once again explain this or quickly revise these concepts, and I will continue.
So they won't give the recording, ma'am, of 2 days, today, yesterday, and
No, you
today.
will get in the mail. You will get the demo links.
Oh, okay.
Demo link
Okay.
videos. You can watch them, or else even in the DurgaSoft YouTube channel also you can able to find. Search it as MySQL. Course of Divya ma'am. You can able to see.
Yeah, I just know I saw it, ma'am. Actually, I was going through like to join the course. I just saw because I needed the SQL, but I
Okay.
see only the ad, like 2 minutes ad of yours, ma'am.
Okay. You can find in videos. Just try to see. Anyways, as you attended today's session, by today afternoon you will get the link from our admin
Link.
team.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
from that you can access. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So yes, as I said you the course content. See, I suggest you to watch 2 demo videos if you're completely new to SQL. In the first class, I explained about by explaining about the real-time examples, how in how we will use SQL or how we will use databases kind of thing. With along with the example, what is database and what is SQL. That is, if you are completely new to the terms database and SQL, see that video, or else you can skip first video and please see second video. In that, I discussed about the limitations of Excel, because we will use this SQL to store the data only, right? There are many formats available, like even we can store the data in the Excel, in the PDF, like that. So as we can store all the data in the Excel, then what is the need of database? So I discussed like limitations of Excel in that, and and all that limitations we will overcome by using databases. How we will
You mean
overcome
today's class?
No, in the previous class. In the previous class, that's what they will send you the link. If you can make it, watch that video.
Okay.
Or else it is just completely a theory part. I didn't explain how we will overcome the concepts by using database. I just said the limitations of Excel. Okay.
Okay.
So as I have many students who already attended that class, I'm not continuing this for now. Please watch that video. Okay. This is completely theory. I just explain the limitations of Excel, as it is also not that important. If you wanted to really understand, you can watch that video. Okay. From
And like
creation of
2 days
database.
class is over. Today is like 3rd day then? Today is the 3rd day?
Today is 3rd day. Is
Oh,
exactly.
okay. Okay.
But still, as I said, 2 days are completely the theory classes. I just said about these 2 concepts only. Okay. If you needed, I can even repeat it, but I think that is completely a theory class, and it is not that useful to learn SQL. How it's not about using the SQL workbench or SQL tool. I think from here is enough for you.
Okay.
Okay, and just a second. All right, so without any delay, let's see. I will, 1 second. I will start explaining you from this concept, like creation of database and tables. Okay. In the first class, just I said what is database and what is SQL, along with taking the real-time example so that you can understand clearly. But okay, so let me start from here today. So as I said in the starting of the class also, I said I don't know how many students joined it sharply 8, but let me repeat. SQL is nothing but a structured query language, full form of SQL. It is used to communicate with the database. Okay, so database is nothing but the place where we will store all the data. Okay, just like if we are storing any images in our laptops, how we will create a folder first, and inside the folder how we will save all the how we will create a files, and how then we will save or we will store all the images or any files, right? In the same way, in that way we can consider database is something like a folder. First we will create a folder. Inside the database we will create a tables. Okay, inside that tables we will insert the data. Okay, database is nothing but collection of data. where we will store all the data, right? And SQL is a language where we will use it to communicate with the database. Usually we will store all the data inside the database, and to retrieve the data or to perform any manipulations with the database, we need to use any language, right? So that, we need to use some language to communicate the database, then only the database can understand what we want exactly, correct? So that is called as SQL. Here we will use SQL as a language to communicate with the database. And SQL is structured query language. It is a universal declared language. The concepts which we will learn in each and every course will be the same. That is, the concepts will be of SQL. But we have different tools available in the market, as I said just now, like, maybe SQL Server, MySQL, MongoDB, like that. So here we are going to cover MySQL tool. Those are just different tools from different companies. Like MySQL is a product of Oracle, SQL Server is a product of Microsoft. But the main concept which we will use is same, that is SQL, that is structured query language. Okay, so MySQL is basically a tool. So we are going to learn the SQL concepts by using MySQL in this course. Okay, so yeah, this is about it. As you can see here, SQL is case insensitive. That means we can use even uppercase and lowercase. That is okay. Okay, it is case insensitive. And whenever you can see here, I wrote some syntax here and I wrote some points here, something like notes. So whenever we want to write any comments in the sense, whenever we want to write something in this tool, which we don't want to execute, we will write that inside the comments. As you know, in all the languages, we will do like that. We will use comments. So now this is my notes. I don't want this to be executable. That's the reason I will first mention some comments and I will write some text over here. So we can use two ways here. This hash, as you can see, hash is also used as comments, or else like this two hyphens. This are also used as comments. We can write like this, and after writing like this, whatever we write, if I mention hash here, whatever I write here, that is non-executable. Okay, this is called as comments basically. And after every SQL query, we will use semicolon. Semicolon, basically in SQL, if we write at the end, after writing any any SQL syntax, if we mention a semicolon, SQL will understand that is the end of the line. Okay, basically we will use semicolon for that reason. But here in MySQL, semicolon is optional. If we use semicolon also, it will work. If we don't use semicolon also, it will work. Whereas in SQL Server, we need to definitely use this semicolon. Without semicolon, whenever SQL sees semicolon only, it will understand that as the end of the line. Okay, here in MySQL, it is optional. Okay, these are all the basic points. And now let's see how to create the database. Okay, as I said, this is the user interface of MySQL. If you want to open a new file here, we have a first icon here. If we click here, we can able to open a new editable page where we will write all the SQL queries. And another option is we have file menu bar here. In the file, we have a new query tab. Okay, like this also even we can open, but directly we can use the first icon here. Okay, can you able to see my code? Yeah, 1 second. Right, first icon, this is the one. By clicking this, we can open a new file, and we have few options here. The first option is, you can see something like a folder. If we write some code here, and if we save this file in our laptops or local machine, if we want to open that file, we need to click the first option. If I click this first folder, you can see some folder symbol here. If I click here, you can able to open the files which are already saved in our laptop. Okay, that way we will use that first icon. Second icon is used to save the file. After writing the queries, if we want to save the file, we will use the second option. Okay, and the third option is an execute button. Okay, this is the execute button. Okay, so if we click here, you can see some folder symbol here. If I click here, you can able to open the files which are already saved in our laptop. Okay, that way we will use that first icon. Second icon is used to save the file. After writing the queries, if we want to save the file, we will use the second option. Okay, and the third option is an execute button. this one. After writing every SQL syntax or every statement, every SQL syntax, we will generally execute that syntax, right? So to execute, we have this button here, third option. Okay. So this is about the basic things for now, and remaining things we will learn going forward. Okay, you can see towards the left side, we have something called as schemas here, and below the schemas, you can see the list of databases available. By default, whenever you will install whenever you install the MySQL in your laptops, you can see only sys database, that is automatic database, system generated database, and you need to create the databases, then only you can see the list of databases available. Okay. So yeah, now let's see how to create the database quickly. So the syntax for creating databases: create database name. Okay. So I already created one database for this batch, that is DurgaSoft 3. So we need to write it as create database DurgaSoft 3. Okay. And I need to select this and execute this. For the first time, see, databases, we cannot create multiple databases with the same name. As I already created this, if I execute now, it will show me an error. If I get an error, errors will be displayed at the bottom like this. You can see a red color cross mark here, and it is stating that once again, error code we can able to see here: can't create database DurgaSoft 3 database exists. As I already created this database, I cannot recreate the database along with by using the same name. Okay. For the first time, if I change the name like this and if I execute, it will be created. Okay. Like this, you can see, if you can able to see the green tick mark here, that means the syntax is executed successfully. And if we get any errors, it will show the red cross mark. Okay. This is how we will create the database: create database name. As I just now created DurgaSoft 4 here, you can see the list of databases available here. You can see there is no DurgaSoft 4. I have only DurgaSoft 2 and 3, right? So as I created just now, it is not there in this list. To see this database name in the list, I need to refresh this. We have a refresh button here. I'm refreshing it. You can now see DurgaSoft 4 database. So after creating the databases, if you want to see that in this list, you need to refresh this. Okay, so this is how we will create the database. Okay. Now, see, you can see here many databases available, the list of databases. So if I start writing any query, any SQL query here, SQL won't understand in which database we want to store or we want to, execute that query. For that, we need to activate the database first. Okay. Without activating the database, if I execute any query, it will throw me an error, because SQL will get confused in which database I should go and I should, execute that query. So for that reason, whenever we are using especially MySQL, we need to activate the database first. To activate the database, we will use command. Okay. So that is the syntax for activating the database is syntax for activating the database is use database name. Okay. So here I wrote use DurgaSoft 3. By executing this, now you can see all my databases is normal in color. Let me execute this once again. That is, I'm activating the database now. I just selected it and I clicked on execute button. You can see my database got activated. You can see it turned into some bold characters, right? Like that. We can able to see whenever we can see some dark or bold color here, we need to understand that that particular database is activated. Whatever SQL statements I'm going to execute now, all those SQL statements will, will be stored or will be executed inside this database only. Without activating the database, if we execute anything, SQL will throw us an error, because it will get confused that in which database we need to do that. Okay. And guys, if anyone is there here who already attended yesterday's class, please bear with me for 10 minutes. I'll just quickly finish it off, and let's see the next continuous class. Or else, as we have only 10 minutes, maybe I will revise the concepts today, and from tomorrow we will continue the class. Okay. Please listen so that it will be something like a revision for you as well. All right. So just now I activated the database, right? Use DURGASOFT. Our database got activated here. So whatever SQL statements I'm going to execute, all those SQL statements will be stored in this database only. That is DURGASOFT 3. Now we created the database, we activated the database. Next step is to create a table, right? So creating the table, in the sense, we need to, for creating the tables, we need to write a create command. We need to use create command here. Create is the command which is used to create the tables. So I just written as create table name. Employees will be my table name. If you can see here, this is my Excel file, right? If you can see, employees is a table name. If I want to store the data like this in the SQL, that is employees will be my table name. I have 4 columns here: employee ID, employee name, salary, and date of joining. Okay, and I inserted some random 2 rows in it. This is the thing how we will store in the Excel file. And if I want to store the same, like, if I store that, if I give the table name as employees, if I create some 4 columns, how we will do that in the SQL? Let's understand now. So create table, this is the table name. As I shown you, employees is the table name. After writing the table name, we need to use the parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis, we need to give the column names. Okay. And I mentioned 4 column names here: employee ID, employee name, salary, and date of joining. Suppose, imagine this is my table name and these are all my column names, right? So to create the table, we need to use like this. We need to use create command. Next, we need to give table keyword here, create table name. Inside the table name, we need to open the parenthesis, and we need to mention all the column names which we want to create. But again, whenever we are defining a column name, we need to define a data type also. Data type is nothing but it defines what type of value a column can store. See, here I'm saying I want a column of employee ID. ID in the sense, generally it will be a numerical data only, right? The IDs can be numerical data. Only numbers we can store inside the IDs, correct? So like that, for every column, we need to define a data type. Data type will define what type of, according to the data type we used, what type of values we need to enter in that column will be already defined. Okay. Like, if you can see here, this is Excel file. This is employee ID. Generally, we will store all the numbers. But if I store something like this, Excel is allowing me to enter that data, right? This is one of the limitation of Excel. Our system should be such robust that if I enter any wrong data, it should throw me an error. Excel is not doing that, right? If see, unintentionally, unknowingly, mistakenly, if I wrote any wrong data, Excel is allowing me to enter. But in SQL, it should not be like that. If we enter any irrelevant data or wrong data, it should throw us an error, right? It should give me an error. It should tell me that you are using employee ID column. You are not supposed to enter any character data or any wrong data. You are supposed to enter only numbers. Like that, in such a organized manner, we will use databases. So to do that, to achieve this, one, we will use data types. Data type. So whenever we are defining a column here, we need to define data type along with the column. That data type, what it will do, we have various data types available in SQL. According to that data type, it will, it will define what type of value we need to enter in that column. Okay, so the types of databases are numeric data type, character or string data type, date time data type. Okay, we will use these 3 data types in SQL. Numeric data types is further divided into int and float. Okay, basically all the numbers, if we want to store the numbers, we will use this either int or float. Int in the sense, if we want to store normal numbers, we will use int. If we want to store decimal numbers like 2.5, 10.5, if we want to store decimal numbers, we will use float. Okay, next we have character or string data type, and we have 2 data types in this, that is char and varchar. Okay, I will explain you going forward what is that. And next we have date time data types. That is whenever we want to store any dates, like, as you see date of joining over here. If you want to store like that, we need to use date data type. if you can see this image here, numeric data, these are all the data types, and it is subdivided into this many times: int and float. Integers, we can store numbers; float, we can store decimals. Character, we have char and varchar data types. That is, char is also known as fixed length, and varchar is known as variable length. What is that? I will explain you quickly going forward. Next, we have date and date time data type. Okay, we can store all the dates available here. Okay, and the format we need to use is like that. First, we need to use year, then month, then date, like y, and dd. If we use date time data type, we can even store the time in it, like hour, minutes, and second. We have 2 more data types available here, but mostly we'll use the first 3 data types only. Okay. So let's see. These are all about the data types. So along with the data types only, we need to create the table. So actually, this is the syntax of the table. This is not. I just shown you what are all the column names inside the table. But we should not execute this. We should define data type along with the. Let me write it inside the comments. Okay. We should define data types along beside the column names. So let's see how to create the tables. This will be our syntax. Create table name. Inside the parentheses, I need to give all the column names, that is employee ID, and I need to define the data type beside the column name. Employee ID, in employee ID, we will store numbers. So I used int here. Int is one of the data type used to store the numerical values. Ename, inside the ename, obviously I will store names, right? So I used char here. Whenever we use character data type, that is even char or varchar, we need to define the size also. We will define the size for character data. Size in the sense, whenever we are defining a character data type, we should define some size. Okay, like then only SQL will understand how many bytes of memory should be reserved for that column. Here I said I given the size as 10. So see what at the back end, what SQL will do for whatever data I'm going to enter in this employee name column. Inside that column, it will reserve 10 bytes of memory. So I should definitely enter either 10 or less than 10 characters only in this column name. Okay, got my point? Whenever we are defining character data type, we need to mention the size. This size, whatever size we are mentioning here, that much of memory bytes, that much bytes of memory SQL will, it will use, or that much of memory it will reserve for this particular column. As I define the size as 10 here, I'm not supposed to enter the name more than 10 characters. If I enter, it will throw me error. It will say you only stored 10 bytes of space, 10 bytes of memory. I cannot store more than 10 characters in this column name. Am I clear, guys?
Yes.
Great. So this is how you will use char, and then this is how we will give the size. Next data type is a salary. Just give me a second, guys. I'll disconnect my charger. Sorry for that. So this is how we will define a data types. Character.
Ma'am, in case if you want to type address, like the character 10 won't be sufficient.
Yeah,
So
10 won't be sufficient. I will explain that in a while. Okay, please wait.
Okay.
All right. So this is employee name. I given char here, and I given the size as 10. Okay. Next, my column name is salary. I used float here. Okay. Float in the sense, for the decimal values, we will use float. Okay. Next, we have date of joining column name. I used date data type here. After writing like this, I need to, I need to execute this. Just give me a second. If we want to see the list of tables available in the database, inside DurgaSoft 3, we have tables, right? We need to expand this. We can able to see the list of table names here. As I already created employees table, if I execute now, it will throw me errors saying it is already created. So I'm just changing a little bit, like I'm giving the table name as employees one. I'm selecting this and I'm executing. Now my table got created. Okay. So we can refresh here and we can see the list of table names also again. I'm refreshing here. You can see now employees one is created, right? Here, especially in MySQL, whenever we are just clicking like this, if we are selecting table names here at the bottom, you can see column names and the data types which we were defined, right? We can find like this. Okay, so this is how we will create the table. Yeah, this is how we will create the table. Okay, next we need to insert the data. Just give me a minute. I will explain you what is the difference between char and varchar. At that time, I can able to answer your question about address. Okay. Now let's see how we will insert the data. To insert the data, we will use insert command. Insert command is used to insert the data, and the syntax is insert into table name values. We need to mention, we need to use the keyword as values, and whatever data we want to insert, that one we need to insert inside the braces, inside the parenthesis. For example, insert into employees. Here I used already employees one, right? Just now we created. So I'm giving employees one. Insert into table name values. After that, I need to open the parenthesis and whatever data I want to enter. For example, in Excel file we saw, I wrote some data like this, right? So whatever data we want to enter, we need to write that complete data inside the parenthesis. Okay, and we need to make sure we need to write continuously. Like, first we need to write employee ID, next we need to mention employee name, then salary, then date of joining. However, we defined in the table, in that sequence only we need to give the data. And if you observe here, for especially character data and date data types data, we need to mention it inside the quotes. Maybe single quotes or double quotes, but we need to give inside the quotes whenever we are mentioning character data and date data type data. So I have given one Raj as an employee name, 45,000 as salary. This is the date of joining. Okay. So I closed the parenthesis here. This means this is my first row of data. Inside this also, each and every column is separating by a comma. If I mention comma, SQL will understand that, okay, I need to enter this data in first column. I need to enter this data in the second column, like that. After closing the parenthesis, if I give the comma, SQL will understand, okay, this is the first row data. This is the second row data, like that. Okay. Basically, comma is used to separate here. Inside the parenthesis, if we use it, it will separate the data for the columns, right? And after closing the parenthesis, if you use column, it will separate the rows. Like, this will be the first row data and this will be the second row data, like that. Did you got my point?
Everyone?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have one doubt here.
Yes, please.
For Raj, we have used inverted columns, commas.
Correct.
What does it mean?
That's what I'm saying. Whenever we are using character data or date data type data, we need to give inside the quotes. Maybe single quote or double quotes. This one also will work. Only for numericals, we won't use quotes. You can see here I wrote for character data and date data, we need to use quotes. Okay.
Good.
For numbers directly we will give. This is one of the rule, we need to remember that. Either we can give a single quotes or else directly I can give double quotes also here. It will work, no problem. We can give anything. Okay, like that. So I'm inserting the data here. As I said, this will be the first row data. I need to write the first row data inside the parenthesis only. I need to give the comma and I need to write this will be my second row data. Like that, after closing the parenthesis, if we keep comma, we will separate. We will give the data inside that. It will defines the row level data. Okay, this will be the first row. This will be the second row. If I want to enter any third row, what I will do here, I will give one more comma and I will open inside the parenthesis. I will give another data like this, right? Like maybe. And we need to make sure whenever we are giving character data, we need to use quotes, and whenever we are giving dates data types, we need to use quotes only. And we need to definitely follow this format. First here, then month, then date, like that. Okay. So this will be my another row of data, correct? So let me just execute this quickly. See, it got created, right? Now I also inserted the data. I created the table and I inserted the data. To display the data what we are creating, we use a select command. Okay. So I just inserted the data, right? Now when I need to display the data, so I need to see what I need to see the data from the employees one table. For that, we will use select command. Select command is used to display the data. Okay, and the syntax is select star from table name. The star we will also call it as asterisk. If we want to display the complete data, we will use asterisk. Okay, but if we want to display any particular data, we will use column names directly here. Let's see. First, let me just execute this one, that select star from table name. Here you can see I wrote it as select star from employees. I'll give it as employees one. Okay. If I want to see the complete data from employees one table, I will use a select command. Select is basically a command. So I will say select star from employees one. I'm selecting this and I'm executing this. You can see the output. Just now we created 3 rows of data and 4 columns, right? This is how we will display the data. Clear? And if I want to see the complete data, I will use asterisk, particularly if I want to see any columns. Like here I wrote, I want to see only employee name and salary. So I will just write it as instead of asterisk, I will mention the column names which I want to display. If I write select e-name, salary from employees one, and I'm selecting this and I'm executing, it will display only these 2 columns, right? This is how we will use select command. Whatever I discussed so far, is that clear for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
Yes.
Great. So this is how we will create the data and how we will insert the data. Today we
In
learned
real-
how to.
In
Yes,
real time,
please.
we won't create the database, right?
In real time, basically we don't create the database because sometimes we may, whenever we join in any company, sometimes we will already join into the project which is already working. Like if any project is for 5 years, I joined in between. There will be already database will be created and tables will be created. I need to work along with them, right? If I work in the project from the starting also, the databases will be the database of our company. We won't create the databases, but we need to create the tables and all like that.
Thank
Yeah. So in this class, we learned how to create the database, how to create the tables, how to insert the data inside the tables, and how to display the data, right? So if you can give me 2 more minutes, I will explain the difference between char and varchar so that from tomorrow we will start new concepts. Is that okay for everyone? We already
Yeah, sure.
see
Yes,
the time
ma'am.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, just give me 2 minutes. Okay, so as I said, for character data, we have 2 types of data types, that is char and varchar. Now let me explain you the difference between char and varchar. Okay, before that, 1 second. One second, 1 second. Suppose, let's see for the same employee name column. Okay. For the same employee name column, if I am defining the data type of char, and suppose if I am giving the size as 10. Okay, let's see. If I define like this, what will, oh, sorry. If I define like this, what it will happen at the back end? Let's see now. See, whenever I define the column name as employee name and I define the char data type with size of 10. SQL, what it will do, it will divide, suppose, just imagine like I took a box and it will divide the box into 10 different parts. As it given the size as 10. Let me just draw some 10 lines. 10 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Suppose this is my 10 boxes. Here what SQL will do whenever we define the size as 10, it reserves 10 bytes of memory. It gives 10 bytes. Here you can see 10 boxes here. Right, like that it will reserve 10 bytes of memory. Okay, in here if I gave any name, for example, if I gave John, how it will do, it will, each letter will be stored in 1 byte of memory, right? Imagine this box as a byte of memory. Okay, so it will store like JOHN. Here we are using, here we are entering only here if I enter John here, that is of only 4 characters, right? But here I mentioned 10. Here I given the size, here I given the size as 10, but I used only 4 bytes of memory here. Remaining 6 bytes of memory is again it is as I given the 10 size here, I left over with the 6 bytes of memory. Correct? What char will do, I mean what SQL will do whenever we define the char, this 6 bytes of, in the 6 bytes of memory, it will just enter some blank spaces like this. Basically, whenever we define char data type, whatever size we define, irrespective of the data we enter, the complete size will be used in the memory. Suppose I used 10, I defined 10 size, I defined the size as 10, but I entered only 4 characters of data, but SQL will use all these 10 bytes of memory. Okay, for the remaining bytes, it will just give the blank spaces. Okay, so this will leads to the memory wastage, right? Here I'm using only 4 bytes. If suppose I declared 50 as my size for char, and if I enter only 4 bytes, almost 46 bytes of memory simply we are wasting there, correct? Did you got my point? Anyone if you want?
Yes.
Okay, so like this, whenever, first of all, whenever we are using character data, we need to give the size, then only SQL will reserve some memory for that data. So here I am using char and I'm giving the size as 10. So SQL will reserve 10 bytes of memory for that, for this column. In this employee name, I'm supposed to enter only 4 characters of data. I cannot enter more than, in this column, I need to enter only 10 characters of data as a defined size as 10. I'm not supposed to enter more than 10 characters. If I enter more than 10 characters, it will throw me an error. Okay. So if I enter less like this, if I enter only 4 characters, this 6 bytes of memory will be wasted whenever we use char. But if we use varchar, instead of char, here, if I use the same ename and if I write it as varchar and if I mention the size as 10, okay, instead of char for the same employee name, if I used varchar, what it will happen, it will again, let me write it once again. It will again divide the boxes into 10 parts, 1, 2, 3, something like that. Just imagine this as a 10 boxes, 1, 2, 3. Suppose imagine this as a 10 boxes. Now what's happening? If I enter John here, okay, in varchar, if I enter John here, it will take 4 bytes of memory, right? Here again, 6 bytes of memory will be there, right? Those 6 bytes of memory in char, what it will do, it will use that 6 bytes of memory by giving blank spaces, right? By this, the memory will be wasted. But in varchar, it won't use the 6 bytes of memory. It will release this memory back to the SQL. Okay. By this, the memory won't be wasted. So in real time, mostly we will use varchar only. Did you got my point? Irrespective, if suppose whatever size we defined inside the varchar, that much size first SQL will reserve for that column, that is employee name column. If suppose in my first row I entered John data, I used only 4 bytes of memory. Remaining 6 bytes of memory, it will be released. That means it will give that memory back to the SQL. In second row, if I entered some 5 characters of data, 5 characters will only be remained, right? That remaining 5 characters, it will give back to the SQL. Like that, how, whatever size we are using, that much we are giving, that much size only SQL will use. Remaining size, remaining size, it will just take, okay? Whereas in varchar, if suppose I mention 10, it will use all the 10 bytes of memory. So it will, by using char, our memory will get wasted, but by using varchar, the memory won't be wasted. So mostly we will use varchar in real time. Okay. And so according to the column name, suppose if I'm using address column, maybe I will give some, large, like I can give even 100, 50, like that. I will define the size and I will use varchar. So whatever whatever characters or whatever bytes I used, that it will be taken, and remaining bytes, the memory will be released, right? Like that, we will use char and varchar. This is the main difference between char and varchar. That is the reason we will call char it as a fixed length. How much size we used, that completely that fixed length of that size will be used. Varchar is variable length. Irrespective of the data, we enter into the, how much data we entered into the varchar. If we are left over with remaining data, remaining memory, that memory will be released back. Okay, am I clear? The main difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So, and one more difference is there. In char, we can store up to 255 bytes only. 255 bytes of character only we can store. Whereas in varchar, we can store up to some 64,000. I exactly don't remember. Maybe 64,534, I guess. I don't remember this point, but almost 64,000 of characters we will store in varchar. So in real time, mostly we will use varchar, as by using varchar, the memory wastage won't be done. But in which cases, in which scenarios we will use char, in the sense, suppose we are, defining the columns. Like suppose if I am defining any gender column, if I'm using any gender column, I know how much of data I will enter in that column, right? For gender column, maybe we will enter as male and female. Correct. So we can just give the size as 5 over there. If we know exactly what type of data we are entering in that columns, then only we will use char. Like, for gender column, only male and female, we know we cannot store more than that, right? So directly we will use, we can use char, and we can give the size as 5. Okay, like that. In some cases, in that cases, if we know exactly how much data we are going to enter, in that cases, we will use char. Or else mostly we will use varchar only. Okay, this is about the difference between char and varchar. I hope this is clear for you. And
Yeah, hello.
yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. What about the space between the big name like Rajkumar?
Yeah, that will be again the different concept. Going forward, we will learn. See, I said we have many functions in Tableau, right? We have one function called as concatenate. We will see at that time. Going forward, we will learn. Don't worry about that in this time. Okay. How we will give space between the full name, like, as you said, something like Raj Kumar, we will write first, we will use it as 2 columns. First name we will give it as Raj, second name we will give it as Kumar, and to convert it into the full name, like, Raj, and in between Raj and Kumar we need to give some space. So how to convert that into full name, how we will use functions, everything we will learn very practically, don't worry. So with this class, you might get already idea that how, my level of teaching. I will teach everything from basics very clearly. In most of the, if you may attend different demos also, you can understand in most of the classes or most of the institutes, they won't explain this much detailing. They will basically tell the data types, and they will, Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe they will. They won't even explain you about the differences between char and varchar. They won't even cover all the basic points. That the reason they can able to finish it off in like 10 to 15 days. But our concept is, but we should learn the concept very clearly, right? So yeah, this is about it. Till now we finished we understood how to create tables. I mean, how to create database, how to create table, how to insert the data, and what is data types, difference between char and varchar also. We learned it today, okay? From tomorrow, let's continue. Even for the old students, till here only I explained the same concept in maybe 2 classes. Today I just explain a little bit fast just to cover these concepts. From tomorrow, I will explain slowly only, okay?
Okay, and you said today is the 3rd day, but I already see a video like demo 3, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what. Whatever I explained here, I explained this in 2 classes for them.
No, I see demo 3, like 3rd day.
Demo 3. Yeah, maybe. Just see the content. The content will be the same.
Okay, but
As I
just now you
said-
are taking, yeah, but the recording is there. So, okay, I'll say.
Yeah, recording is there. You can just see quickly. You can forward and you can see what I explained in the first class. Mostly I explain what is SQL, what is the database and SQL only with examples. Then mostly I took 1 class for explaining the limitations of Excel. I suggest you to watch that video only. Remaining, you can even ignore. Everything is covered in today's class. If you can do that, just watch that video about the limitations of Excel. Maybe that was in my 2nd demo. I'm not sure. Just check once. Okay.
Okay, so
If
how to get today's demo, ma'am?
Today's video?
Yeah.
Yeah, they will send you. They will send you the link of today's demo also.
Oh, okay.
In
Okay.
your mail. By the afternoon, they will send you the mail.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. And once you get registered, they will give you the access for all the videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I hope I'm clear. Let's meet in tomorrow's class. And from
Okay.
tomorrow, the class will be sharp 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And Priya, about extend, like, as you asked from 8:30 to 9:30, I'm not sure about it right now. I will let you know going forward. For now, just attend for this timings. Okay.
Sure.
Within 2 days, I'll confirm you.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we are starting. I mean, I'm not sure. Basically, I already have some batches in the evening. I'm not sure whether I can make it morning another batch. For now, this batch is for only 8 to 9. Okay. All right, guys. Let's meet in tomorrow's class.
Okay, thank you.
All
Okay,
right.
ma'am.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
You're welcome.